Greetings, beloved. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Crim Constellation. If you are new here, welcome and thank you for watching. Today, I feel moved to talk about feeling disconnected. I feel like it is an increasing feeling that many people are experiencing. Some are not talking about it, some are talking about it, but it's definitely something that has been coming up around me, with the people that I'm connected to, the algorithm on social media as well, and just watching certain content or having conversations with people from different walks of life and realizing that so many are feeling disconnected from life itself. And there are many variations of how this feeling can manifest in your life. The things that trigger it as well can be different for different people. However, it's the same feeling, and it tends to awaken you to a truth, right? There is a realization that this feeling of disconnection is is bringing your attention to. So hopefully in this video, I can help shed some light if you are somebody who is experiencing this and you may feel less alone in your experience after having watched this video, and maybe even feel brave enough to talk about it, or share your personal experience either with me or with someone else that you trust within your life. Please keep in mind while you are watching this video that this is not a medical diagnosis. I am not a medical professional. And if you feel like you need serious help, please do seek it. Do not ignore the intensity of your experience. If you feel like you could potentially harm yourself, definitely seek professional help. And if you would like to reach out to me, the methods to get in touch with me are listed in the description below, and I look forward to hearing from you. So, I want to start by talking about some of the experiences that you may be having, or emotions that you may be having, that are fueling the feeling of disconnection. So, one of the things that you may feel or experience is boredom and exhaustion. So, this could be life in general, right? You think about just living, just how you wake up in the morning, you have to brush your teeth, make something to eat, get dressed, go to work. Or if you're unemployed, you're going to stay home, maybe do some chores. If you're self employed, you think about setting up your home office and getting started with work or whatever it is that you do. If you're a parent, stay at home parent, you think about getting the children up and ready for school, and all the tasks that you do that are regular things that you do on a daily basis. You may start to feel like these things are so exhausting. Life seems to be requiring so much effort and so much energy that you feel like you don't have it. It's a fatigue that you experience that sleep does not resolve. Like, you could spend many hours sleeping, you could take several naps during the day, and no matter how much rest you get, it does not cure the level of exhaustion that you may be feeling about participating in life, and also the boredom, the things that you enjoy doing, and even the basic things, the mundane things. It just seems so boring. It just seems like it lacks excitement. You don't have the enthusiasm. There's nothing that is enticing you in life, right? So that could be one of the things that you are experiencing. It could also boil over into accomplishment. You may find yourself losing motivation or losing your ambition, no longer being interested in the goals that you used to have. And even when you see other people accomplishing things and reaching certain milestones in their lives, you couldn't be bothered. You don't feel inspired to achieve or to thrive towards anything, to work towards anything, because it doesn't matter to you anymore, or at least it feels that way. It feels like there is no point. You're just doing it to have a piece of paper, or to have, a select group of people clapping for you, but for what? What does it mean in the grand scheme of things? What does it matter in the grand scheme of things? So that could be one of the reasons that you may be, or that could be one of the experiences that you are having. Um, and another thing is human interaction may annoy you. When you think about having to converse with people, and that you're going to work and you have to smile in people's faces and talk about your weekend and take an interest in their lives and ask them questions when you don't really care to know how their weekend was. You're not really interested in finding out how they're doing. Not because you don't care, you're just in that season of like apathy and just complete disconnect, where you don't want to hear their voices. You don't want to hear a good morning or a good night. You don't want to hear a how are you? How are things? How's the job going? How's the business going? How are the kids? How's the marriage? How's the relationship? When am I going to see you again? All of those things can seem so annoying all of a sudden, and so draining to have to interact and participate in these conversations that it's just noise to you at that point. If you're, having this experience, it just sounds like a lot of noise. And can't people just be quiet? Can't we all just be silent and get through the day in silence? Um, if you live with family, you may find that you don't even want to be perceived, like you don't even want to be looked at, right, by the people that you even live with, that you love, let alone going outside in public and, having those interactions. And another thing that you might experience is your coping mechanisms just don't seem to hit the spot like they used to. You might have coping mechanisms that you engage in, or things that you do to make yourself feel better when you're feeling down. It could be listening to music, it could be going out to party, it could be being intimate with someone, it could be participating in recreational drugs, it could even be taking a nap, or watching a movie. And you'll find that these things that used to help you cope, they just don't work when you're feeling disconnected. They just don't help. They don't recharge you the way that they used to. And in some instances, some people could push their coping mechanisms to the point of addiction, right? And codependency, because of thinking that you need to do the thing more in order for it to have an effect on you, but it ends up having the opposite effect, where you actually feel worse. If you were sad, you're feeling sadder. If you were depressed, the depression just seems darker and colder and deeper. And the coping mechanism is now an issue that you now need to fix, something that you need to work on because you've pushed it beyond a certain boundary and a certain limit, and now it's becoming a detriment to your own life. Um, Another thing that you could experience is the idolizing of crossing over, or idolizing unaliving. Um, so, like I mentioned earlier, if you feel like you're on the verge of doing something to yourself, definitely seek some professional help. But for others, for the most part, it's more so about just the thought of how good it would feel to no longer be, physical. um, and you start to idolize it. It feels like it's the best thing that could happen, and it would be not only doing you a favor, But you may also feel like you'd be doing the people around you a favor if you just didn't exist, if you were just non-physical. Like there's no need for your participation in this life or for your existence in this life. It's not true. Um, I have found that by listening to people, talking to people about this feeling of idolizing, crossing over, and feeling disconnected, a lot of the times it's because the thing that you want to actually die, or the thing that you want to kill, is a way of life. It's an old version of you. Um, it's figurative, you know, but when the feeling comes, the feeling comes as though it's literal, and it feels as though you literally need to do this, but actually um, it's figurative. It's a non-physical way of crossing over, or at least letting something else die out so that you can move on with your life and no longer be held by this chain, this anchor that's kind of keeping you in the same spot, keeping you feeling the same things, and having the same definitions about your worth and your value and what your life means in the grand scheme of things. So it's not necessarily that you are the one that wants to be gone, but you want this thing that's causing you so much pain to be gone. You want that thing to die, not yourself. Okay. And another one of the strongest feelings that you may have during a season of feeling disconnected is feeling as if you are unreachable and feeling like you are beyond saving. Like there is no one that can come and say anything to you that's going to get you out of how you are feeling. And in some cases, in fact, no, it's not true. um so the thing with that feeling of feeling unsavable and unreachable is that there is no escaping the feeling of the old self and the old ways and the old definitions and the old meanings dying out. There is no shortcut, basically. So because there is no shortcut, there is no motivational tape that is going to immediately fix the feeling, immediately pull you out of where you are. It actually requires you to go through the process of shed that old narrative that you have. You need to shed, you need to let the dying happen, let the ending happen. Um, because only once it has happened fully, when there's nothing left of the old self and of the old ways and of the old definitions, can you actually move on and start to create new meaning for yourself. So that's why when people say certain things to you, trying to help you feel better, trying to motivate you, um, trying to cheer you up, none of it seems to reach you. None of it seems to change anything about how you're feeling on the inside. It's because you're mid-process. You're mid-process. You're in the process of shedding, and you need to allow the process to complete. And it's okay to be silent. It's okay to do that with tears, crying every day if need be, screaming if you need to scream, finding another outlet, another way to express your to express the disconnect. Sleeping usually, because the coping mechanisms, how you cope with feeling disconnected, is often by doing nothing. So there's far less participation in things because there's no enthusiasm to participate. So you often will do nothing. You often will just lay in your bed, or not go anywhere, not accept any invitations, and not talk. And that's just how you allow the shedding to happen. I think the main thing that I want to express here is that it's normal. It's normal to go through this season. It's if you think of yourself as a tree, you're just in winter. That's what the feeling of disconnection is. If I could put a picture to it, it's a tree during winter. There's no leaves. The tree is looking pale, right? It doesn't really have a brown color or green. It's just pale. It looks grayish. It looks like it's dying out. Like it looks like it's at the end of its life. Um, which is not true because spring season is around the corner. So now the thing with the spring season is that it depends on your journey and how much shedding is required for you. For some people, the feeling or the experience of disconnect, the winter season, it can last for several years. For some people, it's seasonal, so it comes every other year. Um, for some people, it's every couple of years they will go through this wintering. Whereas some people go through it once in their lives, and then once they have their new definitions, they live a completely new life from there going forward. So it's your experience and how you navigate this feeling is very personal. It's going to happen at your own pace. You're going to feel better when you feel better. Um, you can't really be rushed through the process because it's really between you and your spirit. And, um, it's it's such a spiritually transformative experience. Because what it does, feeling disconnected strips you of the definitions that you have about yourself and about life itself. So when this feeling happens or when this season is upon you, it's because you have been living your life with definitions about life that are not yours, with definitions about yourself that are not yours. So you may be defining yourself based off of other people's definitions about you. You didn't create those definitions. You didn't create that meaning for yourself. So you go through the season of disconnection because you don't recognize the life that you are creating and the life that you are living. And so it must collapse. It must go through an undoing. And after the undoing, after the collapse, after the winter, you get to rebuild your life with definitions that make sense to you and that are meaningful to you. A life that is going to satisfy and fulfill you because your journey is personal. You're not in a race with anybody. Um, the main person that you came into this life to make proud is you, the person that you must give everything to and you must be everything for is you. And it's not selfish because I know it can sound that way sometimes, but it's not selfish because when you are a whole person, it becomes easier for you to show up for other people and to give and to assist and to collaborate and to partner up, to relate, to have relationship, right? To relate to other people. So when you are a half person, you are built from definitions that are not your own. You are creating a life of ambitions and accomplishments that are not your own. And you're trying to be happy in that life. You're trying to make it make sense to you and make it be meaningful to you when it just simply isn't. So when you become whole and you are clear about who you are, You are the one defining yourself. When you show up for other people, it's you. It's the fullness of you and what you have to offer. And even if people don't know it at the time, that's really what they want from you. They want the fullness, they want the whole version, the healed version, the version of you that is overflowing with self. You are not depleted in any shape or in any form, even if you're showing up for people with presence, not presence like money and gifts, but presence, being there for people. Even that is overflowing. You listening to somebody, it's an overflow. You never feel depleted when you have to show up for people, not even have to. When you choose to show up for people, you don't feel depleted. It doesn't feel draining. It doesn't feel like a waste of time. It doesn't feel like, oh, what's the point? Why am I doing this? What does it matter? You have created definitions. You know why it matters to you. You know why it is worthwhile for you to be there, to do the thing, to show up the way that you do, because you're whole. You have filled your cup. So that's why it's important, um, to pour into yourself, to take breaks, to have those seasons of detachment and isolation, so that you can repair, yourself. So many of us are walking around out here, um, not broken, because it's not true that human beings are broken, but fractured. We're walking around fractured. We don't know who we are. We don't know why we do the things that we do. We don't know why we like the things that we like, why we've chosen to define life the way that we do. We don't know. So when you're feeling disconnected, I believe that that's your higher self, your spirit saying, get in touch with your why, get in touch with the reason you came here for. Um, Remind yourself why you chose to incarnate and be an earthling, and have this family and have these friends, and do this for a living, and do this as a hobby or whatever it is. Get in touch with your reasons. The reasons are warped, man. The reasons that we do some of the things that we do, they come from wounded places and wounded people. It's the wounded leading the wounded, in most cases. So, in order for you to feel better and to feel connected to life, you must give it definitions that are meaningful to you, and live a life that is worthwhile for you. Yeah, live a life that is worthwhile for you. But like I said, already, this is completely normal. Nothing is wrong with you, and you are definitely not beyond saving. There is a saying. Yeah, there's a saying that says the light shines brightest in the dark. So the deeper you go in the darkness, um, the brighter the light is going to shine. And that light is you, by the way. It's not something outside of you. It's not in a book. It's not in the sky. It's not held by somebody else. It's you. You are the light. And the deeper you go into the dark, the depression, the disconnection, the apathy, you start to notice that there is light emanating from somewhere. But because we are trained to look outside of ourselves for solutions and saviors, we don't look within. So when you are in that place, you will at some point realize that the light is emanating from you. You just needed to look within, and that's where the source of light is coming from. And if you are the source of light, you can brighten up that entire space of darkness, that entire abyss of darkness. You can light it up, and it just takes remembering. who you are. It takes redefining, and it takes detaching from all the things that are not you, all the things that are not about you. Um, so yeah, I hope I hope that makes sense. And then, of course, I have to connect this to astrology because astrology is my favorite life navigation tool. And I have found that these experiences, these existential crises, and feeling disconnected, can be triggered by certain astrological transits and aspects that are being made to your birth chart. So your birth chart is your life map. That is your compass in life, and it can help you better prepare for some of the things that you're going to experience, and it can help explain why certain things are being experienced by you. What is it for? What does it mean to your soul's journey or your life's journey while you are here on earth? So definitely get to know your birth chart at your own pace. If you're not into getting readings, do the research in your own time and get to know the map, the map of your life, the map of your soul's journey. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say about this for now. I hope that I have shed some light for some of you. I hope that some of you feel a little less alone, a little less confused, a little less unseen. And hopefully this can help you with your next steps. If you've been feeling like you feel this way and you want to feel better, you don't know what to do about it, the first step is start creating new definitions and give yourself some grace. Allow yourself to let go and release at a pace that is manageable for you. Do not overwhelm yourself with trying to feel better before it's time. It's okay to be a little bit sad for a while. It is going to come to an end. It like nothing, no season lasts forever. So your spring will come. Your spring will come. Hang in there. You're worth it. You're worth it. So hang in there. And I think that's all from me for today. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely like, share, and subscribe if you resonated with this video. And I will see you soon.